I'm live. Here we go. Shannon, do you want to come be a part of my stream? I'm live right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are actually going to talk something near and dear to my heart, and that is losing daylight this time of year. Anyone in the newsroom, do you know what our sunset is tonight?
7:03.
Lots of 7 p.m. guesses. It is actually 6:56 p.m. 6:56 p.m. is our sunset tonight. 6:56 p.m. is interesting because we are losing daylight. Every single day right now, we are losing 3 minutes and 24 seconds of daylight. 3 minutes and 24 seconds might not seem like a lot, but if we go ahead and start a timer, I'm gonna just do this right now live because I think that's the most fun part of doing something live. So here we go, 3 minutes and 24 seconds. We're going to start it right now. You're going, okay, why? Because it's actually a long time. We are just less than a week away, 5 days away from the fall equinox or the autumnal equinox. That is interesting to me because here in Spokane, believe it or not, we actually don't have exactly 12 hours of daylight. On the equinox, I'm writing for those of you who aren't listening, which seems to be most of my coworkers when I talk. We have 12 hours and 9 minutes of daylight. I know you're going, wait, I thought it was supposed to be dead even. On the equinox, here in Spokane, on the fall equinox, we have 12 hours, 9 minutes of daylight. That's a sunrise of 6:37 in the morning and a sunset of 6:46 p.m. That is your 12 hours, 9 minutes of daylight. Kind of interesting if you think about it. What is interesting about the fall equinox is that we no longer have that daylight. So let's do something fun here. I have so many crayons because somebody left them in the weather center. I think they thought it would keep me entertained for a little bit. We're gonna draw Earth here. And instead of drawing Earth blue, I only have a green crayon. So think of it this way. Wait, we're also gonna draw a sun. Stick with me here. This is coloring with Jeremy. Probably half of you are going, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. The other half of you are sticking with me, and thank you very much. We are getting there. So, our sun shines at us all the time. What winds up happening is that the Earth isn't spinning directly vertical. So it's not straight up and down, it's actually tilted. And that axis is tilted, putting the northern hemisphere tilted toward the sunshine all summer long. But as we hit the equinox, it's pretty close to straight up and down, but by the solstice, that tilt puts the northern hemisphere farther away from the sun, meaning our days are shorter. So we are still losing daylight. The fastest part of this tilting happens right around the equinox. So right when we're vertical, we're moving fast. This time of year, 3 minutes, 24 seconds of daylight every single day. Believe it or not, it still hasn't been 3 minutes and 24 seconds since we started this. When it comes to our sunset, it is now before 7 p.m. Interestingly enough, our earliest sunset, any guesses earliest sunset? Anyone in the newsroom?
3:30, 3:20.
3:57 p.m. And believe it or not, 3:57 p.m., our earliest sunset is actually not the winter solstice. The winter solstice, it is at 4 p.m. Our early sunset happens the weeks leading up to the winter solstice. So similar to us not actually having 12 hours of daylight on the equinox, we don't see our earliest sunset, on the solstice. So instead, it's all about monitoring daylight, and that's when our Earth tilts far away. Our earliest sunset is 3:57. Oh, that was 3 minutes, 24 seconds. We lost that much daylight today. We'll see how much more we're gonna lose as we move through the next few. I started the timer over again because I do think it gets quite interesting. Our latest sunrise, anyone having a guess for our latest sunrise? Anyone?
7:37.
Jesse Kane, news director, almost dead on. And if we're playing Price is Right rules, you win 7:38 a.m.
Oh!
We always play Price is Right rules around here, just so everybody knows. KREM is a CBS station. That's just inherent with what we do. Now, we're going to get to the part of this that I decided that we were going to talk, because right now our sunset is, anyone listening, what is our sunset today? 6:56 p.m. 6:56 p.m. Next Monday on the fall equinox, it's 6:46. That's 10 minutes earlier. November 2nd, we go ahead and we change our clocks. We're going to roll them back because it's fall. November 2nd, anyone want to guess when our sunset is on November 2nd?
3:45.
4:29 p.m. 4:29 p.m. on November 2nd. So today, 6:56 p.m. Monday, 6:46. We lose 10 minutes of daylight in the evening between now and Monday. By November 2nd, it is 4:29 p.m. 4:29. It's not even 5 o'clock. If you work a 9 to 5, you are driving home in the dark. Sorry, that's just how it goes. In fact, if you want a 5 p.m. sunset, anyone have a guess as to when our next 5 p.m. sunset is after November 2nd? February 7th. So you guys were kind of there. March 8th is actually when we kick our clocks back forward. And when we do that, our sunset is at 6:45 p.m. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of crazy, though, if you think about it. So our earliest sunset, 3:57 p.m. That happens the 8th of December, believe it or not. That's kind of wild. Earliest sunrise, all the way back in June 10th through the 21st, we have our earliest sunrise of the entire year. That's 4:51 a.m. Latest sunset, 8:51 p.m. So we go from 15 hours, 59 minutes, and 39 seconds of daylight on our longest day of the year. That is the summer solstice. By the time we hit the winter solstice, 8 hours, 25 minutes, and 6 seconds of daylight. That means if you wake up with the sun and commute to work and you only have a 12-minute commute, and then you leave work and work your way home, you could essentially work for all of the hours of daylight we have in the entire day. If that's not the saddest thing you've heard all day, I'm sorry. Because whatever you heard had to be pretty sad if you're comparing it to that. By the way, if we're just going to count this down, since I last said 3 minutes, 24 seconds, we are rounding out that time with just 4, 3, 2, 1. That's how long 3 minutes and 24 seconds is, and that's how much daylight we are losing right now every single day. Thank you for coming to my KREM talk. We will have another one of these next week. Hopefully I'll get a blue, because blue is essential when you're talking about weather.